product research, as I said today, 101, back to basics. So product research for me, I think it's one of my favorite things. Okay, I think it's with the tools, it's something that you can just scroll through. The tools give you an overview, you get your creative juices going, and you've got so much opportunity really to choose from. So for me, it's super exciting, and I want to, I guess, share some of that enthusiasm with you, because when you are starting out in the Amazon world, this aspect of it can be extremely overwhelming, because simply there is so much data out there and you're like, okay, what do I do with all these numbers? So I completely feel you. So what I want to show you today, so I've got a few slides outlining a few of the things that I want you to consider, but most of today I actually want to be going through the tools and actually showing you how I go about product research. Okay. All right. So objectives for today, my goals for today of what I hope that you will get out of today's training. So number one, why is it important to actually do your product research? Often, I don't know if you can resonate with this, but you tell people what you're doing. Oh, I sell on Amazon, and suddenly they're like, oh, I've got this really nice, diary. Like maybe you could sell that. So you can't go into a marketplace just thinking, okay, I like this pen, so I'm going to sell this pen. It's not exactly how it works. We need to make sure that there's demand out there. We need to analyze our competition. There's so much that goes into it, and knowing your data is so important. And that's why product research it needs to be done. And number two, spark ideas on how you can actually tackle your product research. So as I said, I'm showing you ways that I like to go about it. There are so many different ways to address product research. So I'm giving you an option, and you might like it and you're like, yes, this is what I like, I'm going to continue, or it just might be something that you add to your toolbox. And number three, understand what the data is telling you. As I said, there are a lot of numbers when you're looking at, the Chrome extension, when you're looking at keywords on Fire, there are a lot of numbers there. So what I want to do is dial it back and be like, okay, what do these numbers actually present? Because data is fantastic, but depending on what stage you're up to, not all the numbers are relevant. Therefore, you do not need to be overwhelmed by those numbers. All right, I'm just going to check over here that everything's going all right. Got some, just looking at your comments, guys. So you've got some, started doing some ZonGuru research, but would like some help. Niche score is changing for each keyword. How we go about it. All right. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that question, but I am going to be talking about the niche score. So hopefully the answer does come up with that. Cool. So a lot of you are still in the product research, still in early days. So this is fantastic. So what we're looking at is going to be extremely relevant to what you're going through right now. Looking in Amazon India, narrow down the base on the niche score. Yeah, so there's a lot of, depending on what marketplace you're in, the niche score is going to be different. All right, so I'm going to continue with the presentation. I think a lot of the questions that are coming up that I will be able to answer for you. Okay, so why is it important to do product research? Basically, so you can make a data-based decision to launch a successful product. As I used the example before, if I like this pen, I have now an emotional connection to this pen, okay? We want to choose a product to launch based on the numbers, okay? The numbers do not have emotions, but we do, so we need to put our emotions aside. And so that is the number one reason why we need to do product research. Okay, ultimately, what are you looking for when you're doing your product research? Okay, firstly, big demand. A demand has to be there. People need to want my pen. If no one wants my pen, I'm not going to sell it. A good profit margin. Again, if I'm selling my pen for $2 versus $100, massive difference. Low competition, low seasonality, lightweight, small items, and products with room for improvement. I also want to add that when you are doing your product research, this will change as you become more experienced and more seasoned being an Amazon seller. So as the suggestions that I'm giving this overview right now is more so if this is your first product, okay? Because you're going to go through a lot of challenges and there are a lot of obstacles. If you add an electric item that is only sold for Christmas, you're adding in more challenges and more barriers. So you could sell anything, but right now I'm giving you what's best, I believe, for if you are just starting out, to eliminate any unnecessary challenges at this point in time. All right, this graph, I think I've actually shown it twice before, but I love it. It's a little bit dated now, so this is from March earlier this year, but it basically shows how Amazon is just growing, 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 and growing. So really what you can actually see in the middle is that there are just under 300,000 new sellers joining the Amazon marketplace. That is massive. That means that there are 2 new sellers every day joining. All right. So this just emphasizes the fact that A, the opportunity is massive. 2, the growth is just growing, growing, growing. And number 3, again, why product research is essential, because there's going to be competition out there. Okay, you can't just put out anything out there and be like, yep, it's going to sell because there's growth. No, there's also competition. So this just highlights the amazing growth of Amazon. All right, just very quickly, types of products to look for to begin with. We need to be able to differentiate the product. Okay, we want it to be when we're looking at a competition, poor competitors, okay? If the competitors are poor, you can obviously make your listing better. And using future niche potential, so using mature marketplaces to give a prediction on emerging marketplaces. So this is something that I'm actually going to go through a little bit later, and this is why something that I really enjoy about product research. And tip from day one, know your budget, okay? And if you don't know your budget, at least be aware that you don't know your budget, okay? Because that is one of the numbers that you're going to look at, and that can immediately from the get-go be like, yes or no, I'm moving on or looking into this product further. All right, products to consider avoiding. Again, very quickly going through this one. This is the things that as a first product launcher, as a new seller, to begin with, that I would suggest avoiding. There are sellers that have extreme success in these areas, but as a beginner, I would suggest avoiding them for now. So that's fashionable items, just lots of returns. And plus, when it comes to fashion, people want to see brands. If I'm selling a t-shirt and it's just black versus a black t-shirt that's got Nike on it, people are going to default to Nike immediately. It doesn't matter how good my t-shirt is. Electronics, again, lots of variables, things can break very easily. Supplements, so anything that is a consumable, you do require extra certificates and inspections. So again, it's just an extra little barrier. And seasonal products, so for example, Christmas. Obviously, at Christmas, it's going to peak, but you need to be excellent with your shipping plan and your timing to get to those products in time. And then also, if your product doesn't sell, what are you going to do for the rest of the year? So then you have to consider your Amazon fees. So again, 4 points that as a beginner on Amazon, I would suggest that you maybe push aside, and then later on when you're a little bit seasoned, come back to these. All right, numbers that you're looking for. So when I was starting these numbers, I read as gospel, because they really took away the overwhelm of what I was looking for when I was looking on the Chrome extension, on the niche finder, etc. So each marketplace, I want to say, needs to be treated differently. Okay, USA, for example, I actually got this question on our Facebook group yesterday or the day before, and they were comparing a US niche score versus Australia, and what they realized is the revenue potential for US was significantly higher than the Australian. So they asked me, why was that? What does this indicate? Well, if we look at the USA marketplace is a very mature marketplace, okay? And America has around 300 million people in the country, okay? So mature marketplace, a lot of people, versus Australia. Australia, even though it is a number one growing marketplace at the moment, it is still in its infant stage, but we only have 25 million people. So our demand is going to be different. So you can't look at, the US marketplace, the Australian marketplace, and the UK marketplace and look at it on a level playing field, because they're not. They are at different stages. So the opportunity in a certain niche or a certain product are going to be different. And therefore, as you can see on this table, the numbers, the data that you're looking at, and what is, deemed a great opportunity for a marketplace is going to vary. Okay, so US, we like to look at prices, generally speaking, over $25. This is more so to factor in your profit margin. If you're selling something for $2, Okay, you can sell 100 of them for $2, but your profit margin is going to be tiny. Whereas I can sell something for $10 and sell 50 of them, and I'm still making a whole lot more profit than you are. So your price is very important to determine your profit margin. Therefore, when we are doing our product research, we're looking for things over $25. Search volume refers to the keyword that a customer is using on Amazon to look for your product. So if I'm use my pen example, blue pen. Okay, that is the keyword. We want to know how many people are looking up blue pen. Maybe no one. Okay, maybe everyone's looking up red pen. Okay, so that's what that means. Average ratings. So average ratings is referring to the reviews. Usually when there is a niche that has really high reviews, it means that there's a lot of competition. If I'm selling my blue pens and my competitor has 10,000 reviews and then I rock up and have 0 reviews, by default, my customer is going to go towards the 10,000 reviews because we like social proof. We like that validation. Everyone loves reading reviews and seeing, okay, what do other customers think of this product, and do I want to buy this product? Average monthly revenue again reflects the demand. And this is the money that the product is bringing in. Revenue and profit are different. Okay, this is the whole amount of money that product is earning, and then the profit is the money that is being taken home. So in revenue, that includes Amazon fees, that includes COGS and profit. And the niche score. So the niche score, in a moment, I'm going to go into further detail. How are all going? Looking over to the comments. We've got, these are always recorded and they can be sent to you. If you can't find it for any reason, just reach out to support and say the date of today's training and they can send it to you. Alrighty, I'm going to keep on going. I see the questions. I hear they are noted, guys, but I think I'm going to answer them. All right, so this is the main bit of our presentation. So number one, I'm going to take you onto ZonGuru Niche Finder. I'm going to be concentrating on the advanced mode. Then I'm going to go into Chrome extension. I'm going to go through the features, and also a new little feature that you may not be aware of is in the bestseller category. And number 3, using mature marketplaces to show predictions in emerging marketplaces. Okay, so I'm going to change screens now. Alrighty, so I'm in the ZonGuru dashboard. Okay, I'm in Niche Finder. So Niche Finder is found here under Product Research. Niche Finder here. Okay, and I like going into advanced mode because I like using the filters. Okay, so here I've already got some going. All right, so this is, I'm going to start scratch as if this was clear so I can go reset if you like. So I've decided that at the moment I mentioned that I'm launching a product in the Australian marketplace. So searching in the Australian marketplace for me is where I want to search. You can choose whichever marketplace you would like. Okay, so this is very important because the niche scores, the data do 100% vary from marketplace. Do not think they are the same. Okay, select categories. So you can have all of categories or some. So some of the ones that I like looking at, I like, home, I like kitchen and dining, and I love pet supplies. So let's do those 3, for example. Here, so we've got the filters here. So we've got filters here, and then we've got specific metrics. Now, don't feel like you need to play around with all of them. The ones that I particularly like to go through is niche scores. Immediately, I don't want to look at anything with a niche score that's lower than 50%. Okay, and for those who don't know a niche score, the niche score is a calculation of 4 categories. So it's a buyer demand, competition, opportunity, investment sweet spot, and profit potential. And this will be clearer in the Chrome extension shortly. So I like to move the niche score. Now, these are probably the ones that I mostly do. Here, to be honest, I just kind of leave it as is. All right, so launch budget. I did mention that launch budget is super important. Basically speaking, if your launch budget is $10,000 and you find a product that you're like, oh, this is amazing, it's ticking all the boxes, but the launch budget is $150,000, you're obviously that at this moment in time, that product is not appropriate for you and where you are in your business right now. So that's why it is good to know where you're at. For the sake of this, I'm not going to put a launch budget, but I want you to make sure that you have a figure in mind when you are doing your numbers. For revenue, so if we go back to the slide here in regards to revenue, if I'm looking at Australia, we want a revenue of $5,000 at least. Okay, so I can write $5,000 there, minimum. And I like to say minimum of $25. Again, we don't want any really low ticket items. We basically the more expensive it is, the better, or the higher your profit margin has the potential to be. So generally speaking, that's all I'm going to put in. Okay, product research is it's very be flexible with it. The numbers that I've given you here are a guide, and it's more so that you can determine, okay, if you're looking at a search volume of 800, you're like, is that good or is that not good? So that's more so where this comes into play. All right, and I'm going to press search. So another thing I want to say is take the products that come here with a grain of salt, because some of them are hilarious and widely inappropriate. But that's fine. It's your business. You choose what you like to be, but just for the sake of for this recording and you guys watching. All right, so I've pressed search. So what ZonGuru has done, it has brought out all the niche, all the products that fit within this category. I'm just going to have some water. I'm just looking over to your questions. Just one. Actually, no, I'm jumping ahead. Awesome questions, guys. Keep them coming. I will address this in the Q&As if I don't address them on right now. Okay, so I've just pressed search. So what ZonGuru has done is gotten all the information here for you. Now, just to add, when we're looking at the niche score here, this is not immediately true time, okay, because there is so much information on Amazon. As I said, every 2 minutes we have a new seller. Okay, so we need a lot of information. So this is updated more so on a 24-hour basis rather than our Chrome extension, which is live right now. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to skim, and I don't get bogged down. Just skim through and be like, what is of interest for you? So again, in my head, I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not looking at clothes, I'm not looking at electrics. So I'm like already. A stick vacuum, I'm like, no, it's a mattress. I'm like, yeah, it's a bit boring for me. A coffee machine, that's cool, but it's an electric, so I'm going to keep going. Dog food, obviously a consumable. So I already have a plan of what exactly I'm looking for. So doing like coffee cups, let's have a look what coffee cups is showing us. So what this does is that you can click on it and it gives you a quick overview, because you might click on it and you're like, oh, that's not what I expected coffee cups to be. But we have our niche score. So this is our rainbow, and it's showing those 4 different areas that the score is from. So it's from buyer demand, competition, opportunity, investment sweet spot, and profit potential. Over 50% awesome. Buyer's demand, 87%, that's quite good. And that's more so spelling out what the rainbow is. So here is the more details that we want. So search volume, 278 search volume. So coffee cups, I'd be like, okay, that's a little bit of a low search volume. Average sale, 63, that's over 25. So that's pretty good as well. $6,000, that's over $5,000. So in the Australian marketplace, okay, that's an interesting one. So these are the conversations I'm having. Do I want to go forward? I'm looking at it. How would I potentially make mine different? I'm not sure. Maybe I can create, pink glasses. Okay, so again, you need to be, when you look at a product, you also have to look at it and be like, could I make a change here? Could I make it different? So you can already see this little bear one. Product, there's a visual differentiation, and you can see by the number of reviews, the sales, that this one is dominating. It does have a lower price, but it is immediately stands out from everything. All right, so I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting. I want to keep on going though. So I keep on going. So there's bed sheets, there's self-cleaning litter box. Let's see what this looks like. I guess interesting. I've never had a cat, so I don't know what's involved in the care of a cat. I'm going to assume that's kind of electrical. So I'm like, that's not what I'm after. A cat scratcher. Okay. These were actually, I believe they're called the scratching post. So again, let's analyze what is here. So 61%, that's looking good. Search volume still slightly, let's go back to remember. So search volume for Australia is 1,000, still on this lower end. But again, I don't get discouraged if the numbers aren't exactly that, because I still do acknowledge that Australia is in its growth phase. Okay, it is becoming more and more popular. So just because one number doesn't mean that I'm immediately, oh, that's out. So you need to make a decision on that as well. Okay, at the end of the presentation, I'll show you an awesome way how you can track this information. I'm quite a visual person, so I really like using spreadsheets. I like, green color, red color. Green is go, red is stop. So adding these data points into that spreadsheet gives you a visual representation of that. Revenue, that's quite nice for the Australian marketplace. The price is up as well. What are the ratings doing? Yeah, and there's not that many reviews. So that's potentially already in my head. I'm like, oh, that's quite interesting. So actually what I'm going to do is, so if I've got something that it's like, oh, I'm quite interested in that, I want to open it in Amazon. You go over to these three dots here and you click on this little puzzle and it straight away opens up on amazon.com.au. Remember, I'm in the Australian marketplace. I've already got my niche, my Chrome extension loading. So it does take a little bit of time to load. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got here. So as I said, if these numbers change from what you saw on the desktop, that is okay, because the Chrome extension is the most up-to-date information. This is live time. Okay, so looking at the Chrome extension, what information am I looking at? Am I thinking that it's good or bad? Give me a comment. What are your thoughts on this niche? Do you look at it and be like, this is interesting, or you're still not quite sure what you're looking at? Or do you think like, nah, it's too expensive? Let me know what you think. I'd love for it to be a little bit of more of an interacting training. So I'm just looking over to, so let me know. Feel free though. Got a few comments. So what I'm going to comment on this of how, so niche looks strong, it's interesting. That's right. So immediately I'm like, okay, number one, niche score is good. It's over 50%, right? So search volume, that's probably in my head, okay, on the lower side, but we keep on going. Price, I like that price. That's something that we can work with to still have a good profit margin. Ratings are actually on the mildly higher side. However, I'm going to look into this, and I did see someone ask a question about some of the products when they have high reviews that they come from the US or another marketplace. So I will touch on that because it is a valid point. Monthly revenue, $8,000. So we're looking about over $5,000 for the Australian marketplace, which is good. And the launch budget. So this is something, again, I'm bringing your attention to the launch budget, because I'm like, okay, $8,000. If my launch budget is the $10,000 I discussed earlier, I'm like, yeah, this is looking good. So if I'm just looking at these parameters here, basically I've got the majority of them ticks. The only one that isn't too good is a search volume. But when you're looking at the search volume, so this is a cat scratcher, okay? I don't have a cat. Okay, and I've never had a cat. I'm more of a dog person, if you like, but I love animals. Anyway, when it comes to a product like this, maybe my audience that are my ideal avatar use something else. So I think I've seen them called like cat trees even. So that's when keywords on fire come into play, because I would put cat scratches into keywords on fire, and it might actually be that my ideal customer calls these cat scratches something completely different, and the search volume for that specific term is significantly higher. Okay, so that's something where all the tools of ZonGuru, you integrate them and they work together. So that is still part of your product research, and the Chrome extension just gives you a fantastic overview of like a quick snip. From the numbers here, I'd be like, yes, I would add these details to my spreadsheet, and then they would be, yes, this is a product or a niche that I would like to explore further. Just going over to the questions. Ron, I'm confused at the buyer demand. The percentage is high, but the numbers are low. How is this worked out? Cat scratcher and coffee mat. So buyer demand. Buyer demand is 92%. But the numbers are low. So that means that, I just spoke about the search volume. So obviously these products are selling. Okay, these are selling. However, they might not be using the word cat scratcher. Does that maybe answer your question? But that means there are people looking for this product. All right, I'm going to keep on going. Other points that the Chrome extension gives you is when you scroll through it, over here, as you can see, there's a little number. I hover over the number and it says the number 3 top clicked listing of this keyword. So what this indicates is straight away it tells you the top products that people automatically gravitate to. So this product, so that this one here is gravitating a click. As you can see, it does have a visual differentiation. It looks completely different to anything else. Naturally, people are clicking on that. So that information is given to you, and you can automatically see, okay, what are our customers leaning towards? The number 1 here is one of the rounder ones. So let's see if we can find that. I think it's this one here. See, this one has 17,000 reviews. So I'm actually going to click onto this and we're going to have a look at this one. Let's see. So everyone can see the cat scratcher. So it has 17,000 reviews. So that is, that is quite intimidating coming in as a new buyer. So the question was, someone asked, okay, how can I overcome this? If there's a category like this and there's got high ratings. So we are, I'm launching in Australia as well. I'm new to the Australian marketplace. And what Amazon has actually done, it has now allowed people that have been selling in US or another marketplace to have their reviews shown. So let's see where these reviews are coming from. So top reviews are from Australia, as you can see. So there's positive reviews. And as we scroll down, if we get there, top reviews from other countries. So as you can see, they've been around for ages. This is from 2017. And I completely understand how this can be so discouraging. Basically, you're like, well, 2017, I can't compete with a product that has been on here for years. Okay, so what I want to say to that, so number 1, yes, this is a successful product. It is getting the clicks. So for this product, people are liking. Okay, the price is quite high, so that's positive to see, and they have quite a healthy revenue in the Australian marketplace. It seems that majority of the reviews here are from the American marketplace, or it's even in the UK. So I wonder where else. UK. Okay, so so they actually might be selling in multiple marketplaces. Okay, so what you can look at this and how you can, I guess, take back the power, if you like. When I look at this product, at this listing, I'm looking at it, immediately I'm like, this is not a good listing. Okay, these are the things that automatically they're like, hey, this product is selling, so customers are loving this product. So I could maybe create a different design, a different color, for example. However, if I personally look at that, I kind of think it's kind of ugly. Okay, so how can I make it prettier even and then have a better hero shot? Can I have a cat in the hero shot? I know that, as I said, I'm a dog person. You go onto dog beds, every single picture of a dog bed has a dog in it now, because people know that sellers know that their customers like the dog. The dog, anything with a dog or an animal in it, I'll click on it. Okay, so you could improve the hero shot. You could improve the other photos that are in. They don't show you any packaging. They don't show you any measurements, any dimensions of the product. So your photos can be different. They haven't utilized the keywords in the title. Their dot points have zero information. So for an Amazon listing, they have not utilized or optimized more so their Amazon listing. So that's why don't get discouraged about the number of reviews, because they may have just popped this on there and be like, okay, bam, it's already selling. We're not going to do anything about it. But you can actually make it a better listing on Amazon. And often, actually, the listings that look similar to this are more often than not brands. So they're private brands that are selling. They have like whether it's a physical shop or they have an online private label, and they're just like, okay, well, Amazon is massive, let's pop it on Amazon as well. But they actually don't understand how to be an Amazon seller. And that's where you come in. You have the knowledge of how to optimize a listing, and that's what you can make better. Something else I want you to take note of, it's not particularly for this product, but a lot of the products that do have their international reviews present as well actually are stocked internationally. So this one, it looks like it is coming from Australia because I could get a free delivery and it delivered on Thursday. But some of them, you look in there and it's taking 3 weeks to get here because it's coming from America. So that's something else to be mindful of. Okay, people are going on Amazon because they want their products like that. If this product was going to take 3 weeks to arrive, I'd be like, no, thank you. I'm going to go back and see what ones are available in Australia. Okay, so I hope that answers the question in regards to the reviews. And just a simple way, this is a dominating product on here. These are the thoughts that are going through my head. How can I make it better? Okay, so I hope that was useful. What I've actually done over here is from yesterday when I was thinking of what I wanted to present to you guys, I found the niche of a gaming chair. So again, this is, we've actually shared this on our Instagram, but this was something that I wanted to share with you, and more so highlighting the fact of how to use two marketplaces to predict what will be successful. So I'm back in the ZonGuru niche finder. Gaming chairs has come up. It's got a beautiful high rainbow. Search volume is over 5,000, so looking good. Loving that price. Excellent room for profit. Average revenue around the 12 under 13,000, so it is getting up there. Launch budget is a little bit higher than my 10,000, but in my head I'm like, can I find a little bit extra? And this launch budget is based on how much inventory you need to be present and compete with your competitors on page one. Excuse me, this is some water. All right, so I've opened up this in Amazon and I loaded these previously because I hate how long it takes. So again, I'm in amazon.com.au. I'm in Australian marketplace. The keyword is gaming chairs. As you can see, the numbers have slightly altered. Again, this is real time. Our dashboard doesn't update immediately, okay? So what I'm looking for is like, these numbers are great. In my head, tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, okay, the only thing that I'm going in here and be like, okay, how do I make mine different? Because there are competitors on here. But I didn't get this example up to analyze it like I did the cat one. I wanted to use this as to compare. So what I've actually gone and done is, this is a cool niche to explore in Australia, but I want to show you what this niche is doing in the American marketplace, okay? So now we're on Amazon.com, okay? So US marketplace, okay? Gaming chair, the exact same keyword. Look at these numbers, guys. Niche score has dropped to 55%. So I said over 50 is good. However, again, emphasizes the fact that these numbers are just a guideline. So when I'm looking at this niche score, what do you see? Buyer's demand is 96%. That means there are people wanting this product, okay? You cannot get more people wanting this product. Competition opportunities at 26. So that means that when it says competition opportunity, the lower that score is, the higher the competition, the more competition you have. So that that number shows you that, okay, you've only got a 26% shot, or we think that you've got a 26% shot to actually make a dent, to somehow make your product different, because there has been a lot of other people, or 75% of people go in there and really create something new in this space. Investment sweet spot is 0%. What this is referring to, if we go over to the side, The launch budget here is a whopping $150,000. So in my head, I was like, well, my 10 grand is out the window. However, in Australia, it was only 16. So you can see that this product is absolutely smashing it. Average revenue is $2,059,000, just under 2.6. If I click on revenue, I love doing this. Number one person is doing $2 million a month in revenue. Like, these people are laughing there and they know what they're doing. And when you scroll down here, obviously the red's a very popular color. You're scrolling down here that this is a niche that, you know, you could have found on the American, say I found it on the US marketplace first and be like, wow, this opportunity here is incredible. However, the competition is quite harsh, okay, it's strong, and the launch budget is way out of what I can afford right now or what has been delegated to my business. So then I'm like, okay, well, let's suss it out in the Australian marketplace. Bam, I go on the Australian marketplace. These numbers are still very positive. Obviously, the top person isn't making $2 million yet. Yet is the question. So right now, based on, this is where it comes to making a decision based on data. You use the mature marketplaces, such as an American one, and see how the same epic opportunity in America, how it is going in the emerging marketplaces. So this is going into Australia, and whereas the numbers aren't there yet, obviously Australians like gaming chairs as well. Okay, so there is an opportunity here that it can be possibly just as successful as the American listings once this marketplace continues to grow. Okay, so this is an epic example of how you can use a mature marketplace to predict a growing marketplace. However, I have to come with a disclaimer. It's not just easy as that. You need to make sure that you understand your marketplace, okay? There are cultural differences around the world, and something that maybe sells in America really well may not translate to the Indian population, for example. So you also need to do your research within that marketplace and see, okay, if I'm looking in Australia, are there certain buying habits in Australia that aren't in America, and vice versa? So that would be my tip or suggestion as well, that even though it can highlight awesome predictions, and I would definitely use this in your product research. If you find something that's killing it, or that's looking good in Australia, see how well it's doing in America. I find that we're quite similar. Okay. However, it would be very different if I took a product from Australia, from America, and plugged it into India. It's definitely a point of reference, but when numbers are different, that's what you think about. Okay, so why is it different? Is it cultural differences? Do they, I have never been to India before, but it's very hot there. So if I'm not going to sell a beanie. A beanie might sell, in America, it might sell in Australia, but it may not go there. So it's those kind of different things you need to take into consideration. All right, I hope that's been good. So I've got one more thing. We've got about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to go to questions. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you regarding our Chrome extension here is our Chrome extension now shows you the data from the Amazon bestsellers. So here on Amazon.com, I've clicked on bestsellers. And our Chrome extension now gives you the data of the bestsellers. This is relatively new. Previously, we did not give data on this because it's not a niche. Okay, so what can you see different from the Chrome extension here versus previously? There is no niche score. The reason being is this is not a niche. This has lots of different niches on the score. So it's not that it hasn't loaded. It is because you are not looking at a niche. You're looking at they're Amazon's best top sellers, which is multiple niches, okay? But it does give you what I would do with this information is, for example, I want to go into, where's my pet supplies? I'm going to click on there. My Chrome extension is loading, and I want to see what's the top thing selling in pets. And it's just another way of researching, of getting ideas going, because something's got 1 million. So these Amazon Basics dog and puppy pads are making $1 million a month. So then I'm like, that's interesting. I'm going to go and investigate that niche now. So it's just another way. This gives you what people are buying obviously like food and things like that. But it's just another point of reference of, okay, what's this interactive puzzle game dog toy? So a lot of, this is top 23 again. Oh, that's interesting. It's a dog toy associated with their eating. I'm going to go and have a look at that. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so what I've forgotten something, guys. I take that back. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and just finish off the 4 questions. All right, to finish up, what I wanted to share with you guys is that when you're looking at that, remember the Chrome extension is an awesome overview of the data, okay? And what you should do is that you should do lots of them, okay? The more product research you do, the better it's a skill. The better skill your skill will grow. So if you do, just research one product a day, that's not enough. You need to do like, okay, for 1 hour each day, I'm doing product research, and then the numbers, you'll start remembering the numbers. You'll start remembering, the hero shot, the title, what are they doing with their dot points? How could I make it different? You're on the same level. And what we actually have, and if you have free access to this, so do contact our support if you do not have it. But we have our, this is a spreadsheet that we use, and you can actually put in the numbers. So you put the keyword, niche score, search volume, etc. It actually is color coordinated. So as I said, I'm a visual learner. I love seeing. So if you have something and it's all red, obviously it's not the product for you. You may love it yourself. If you love it, go and buy it for yourself. Doesn't mean that you need to sell it, okay? So this is an awesome way to organize your product research and gives you an overview of what's happening. And again, make a decision based on data, based on the numbers, not a product that you just like, okay? So that's for you there. And we also have the quick start challenge. When you're new, I feel like having that extra guidance is super important. So if you want to be join the quick start challenge, I believe don't quote me. It's $49. It says on there, $49, but it's 14 days of videos. Each day you have a new task. By the end of that 14 days, the aim is for you to have a product ready and talking to suppliers. So it gives you a step-by-step process of product research. Highly recommend. It's awesome to have these steps, especially if you are a person that is overwhelmed, or you're not sure what you're looking at, or you're just not sure what the numbers mean. Awesome way to just have one of us show you, basically. All right, awesome. Okay, now we can go into questions. All right, let me have some water. I'm going to have a look at these questions. So if you have questions about the product research shoot, as I said, I wanted to give you just a more of a real live way view of how product research is done, because I understand that it's all well and good showing a PowerPoint sometimes and saying like, you should look at this and shouldn't look at this, but I do think it is valuable to see, I guess, the mental process of maybe what should be going on in your mind when you are on Amazon, when you are using Niche Finder, the Chrome extension, and so forth. All right, let me have a look at these questions. There's a question, what is the Delivered Australia on Amazon platform when I open it in Chrome extension? What is a Delivered Amazon Australia on Amazon platform? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to that. Sorry, I'm scrolling through. So John asks, is it a good idea to get less quantity when there are variations in a product and you want to check which one do you want to go ahead with? Sorry, yeah. That makes it makes logical sense. Like if you've got if you've got many variations, it does depend on how many variations you have and where you're up to. But I think, it is a good idea, because otherwise if you've got two variations, one flies off the shelf and the other one is sitting there, you're paying Amazon fees for that to sit there, okay? And that can be very expensive, especially if you order a lot of them. So, I think it would be wise to, part of your initial launch, to gauge, okay, what are my customers wanting more of? But on that note, I would also John, you should be aware of already what your customers prefer. So I was looking at a product, and I already knew that there was plenty of variations, but from the product research I did, I already knew that white was the dominating color, even though there was others in there as well, and maybe I could do others, but I knew that white was dominating. So I already you should already know what the answer is, if that makes sense. And if you don't, I would suggest doing a bit more product research in terms of what variations do work as well, because obviously inventory ain't cheap as well. Michael, how to verify if your competitors have any patents in place? Patents, so you need to research their brand. You can look it up on Google. There are certain patents that do come up there. If you are concerned about it, I would get in touch with a lawyer. I don't want to give advice on that because it's not my area of expertise, but usually the research that I have done if someone has a patent, they're usually very loud about it, number one, so you're aware of it. They usually give the details, the numbers, and then you can actually search those numbers and see what actually is patented, or you could actually reach out to your competition and be like, hey, what's your patent number, can I have it? But otherwise, seeking actually legal advice on the patencies of a product. Michael, can you receive reviews on your first sale if customer leaves one? Yes. I'm not quite sure if that's a trick question. So everyone, if anyone leaves a review, it is, there's a bit of a process time there, but it is automatically uploaded onto your review. Does that answer your question? How many keywords are recommended for analysis to make a decision? So it depends on what information are you looking for from your keywords. So actually my presentation in a fortnight is actually on keywords, but keywords, I love Keywords on Fire. It's probably along with the Chrome extension, is probably my up there tools, because Keywords on Fire help you in almost every aspect of your Amazon journey. So product research, it's helping you out there. It's helping you to optimize your listing, and it's helping you to determine what your PPC is. So once you're running your campaign, so I don't have it. It's not a number of keywords that you make a decision of. You need to factor in all the details, all the data together, as well as your personal situation as well, to make a decision. So it's not just 100 keywords and you're off. There is no such. Every situation, every niche is completely different. When we talk about validating a product, what are the steps involved? So are you saying validating a product in terms of for it to be ticking the boxes of if you should research it? So I would be looking at, previously I shared the tracker sheet that we have, and you can have access to that. So it's making sure, so again, is the demand there? Is the search volume there? What is the competition? What is the launch budget? So those are the things, but you also need to, the steps they're simple, but there is a lot of them. So that's why something like the researcher challenge is awesome to do, because it gives you steps exactly to follow. But otherwise, validating a product is exactly what we just went through in this product, and using that tracker sheet. That tracker sheet has all the numbers that I would particularly be looking at. So I would get onto that and have a look, because I know that you guys do have access to that. In the US, there is Amazon Prime to send the inventory from your house or warehouse to the Amazon warehouse. Any ideas which carrier can use here? And to be honest, I'm not that far into my own journey in Australia to see if they pick up inventory. My experience has been that usually my stock is actually sent to the Amazon warehouse. I don't keep them at home, so I actually don't know that question. But if anyone else has experience in fulfilling from yourself, from merchant and going that way, do drop a comment in. Is sweet spot is money I want to invest in the product. So the investment sweet spot is your budget. Okay, so if the investment sweet spot is a low percentage, it means that the launch budget is extremely high, and the launch budget is based on how much inventory you need to compete with the other products on page 1. If the main keywords are below 500, but few related keywords together is over 1,000, then we can consider that it is a viable product option. I don't know, we're talking too much. So I have a lot of questions to counter your question. So depends what marketplace you're looking at. Depends if the related keywords are relevant to your product. So yes, so you can determine, obviously, when you're looking at the research, but then also creating a listing, you're going to add all the relevant main keywords, so your short-term keywords, but then also your long-tail keywords, and all of that will make up your title and your listing. So when people are searching it, they have more chance of finding your product. So 1,000. This depends on what marketplace you're looking at. So, for example, search volume. So for Australia, we're more so looking for over 1,000. But then you can also have a look, okay, this particular product, the search volume is slightly lower in Australia, but in America, it has been very high. So then you can make a decision based on, popular in America, it could grow in Australia. So this is, again, it's having all this data, but then making an education, making a decision based on it. And unfortunately, and what makes it a little bit tricky, because I guess if it was easy, everyone would do it, is that it's not just, okay, if it hits this, then it's okay. If it hits this, okay. There are so many variables to take into consideration, and some are heavier than others. So it's not just one, but you said this. It's like, yes, I said this, but it's more of these numbers are a guide for your initial product research, for an overview. And then you can be like, something may have had such massive demand. However, it is a massive product. Let's say, I don't know, I've got a stand desk. That the demand is high, but it's a massive product. Therefore, my Amazon fees are going to be massive. Therefore, my profit goes down. So it's more so about, you need to have these kind of internal debates with yourself, with a team, with a coach, and kind of put pros and cons of everything that you need to consider within a product. And you don't have to do this with every single product, because it will take you so long. Okay, so that's why do overviews, and basically you're overviewing with the data from the Chrome extension first, and then you're putting it into the tracking sheet, and then you're seeing, okay, this one has all green. Okay, it's good to go. I'm going to now look at suppliers just to see how much they're charging, or I'm going to see, okay, if they're this big, what are the predicted? We have our FBA calculator, so that is an awesome tool. FBA calculator, how much are my Amazon fees going to be? And then again, you're going deeper and deeper, but that's to begin with. You should have 50 products, and you should have the Chrome extension data on there to analyze, and then you pick a few and you go forward with, and you dive deeper and deeper and deeper into them. You do not dive deep into 50 products, because you'll be there. It's a waste of time, basically, because not every product is going to suit your needs and your criteria of what you want to do with this business. Can you save your niche finder sessions? You can save the filters that you use. So in the right-hand corner, you can, say, again, I say you can go right-hand, and I can call it like Australia marketplace filters. But the products that are found there aren't going to be the same each time, because the market is constantly changing. So you can't save it and be like, okay, bam. You can save the filters, but the products under those filters will change, because Amazon is forever growing. All right, guys, I hope I have answered your questions. We're just getting to an hour, so I'm all talked out. I think I'm losing my voice, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from there. And when you go into your product research, maybe looking at it at a different light, or maybe with a little bit more clarity. So we are here to assist you guys. It's cool having conversations. I appreciate your questions. If you're not part of our Facebook group, do join us. It's Amazon Seller Network, and you can write questions in there. I'm always in there posting the most up-to-date Amazon news, as well as other things that are coming out, whether it's with ZonGuru, our features, events, and everything, our podcast. It's all in there. As I said, you can ask questions as well. And you can get that link via, actually, a lot of the links that I mentioned today, if you go into our Instagram, so ZonGuru, click on the link in the bio, FBA calculator will be there, the tracker sheet will be there, and a link to our Facebook group will be there. So that's an awesome tool for you to guys to go and suss out. But otherwise, good luck with it all, and I will see you in a few weeks' time for our next live training. But otherwise, have a fantastic day.